What is going on, trainers? Welcome back, and we got something pretty exciting today. We've got a rank 1 Ultra League Talonflame. Now, to make full use of its stats, it needs to be level 51, so you need to max it to level 50, and this is going to be the first Pokemon that I've actually maxed to level 50 at this point, and it needs to be Best Buddy. We're still working on the Best Buddy boost, but that should land it at 2499 CP when it's finished. We're going to be pairing it up with a Snorlax running Lick, Body Slam and Earthquake, and a Cresselia running Psycho Cut, Moonblast and Future Sight. Now, the reason we're not running Superpower on the Snorlax is we want to be able to threaten with a hard-hitting charge move from Snorlax, as Talonflame is very good at getting shields away from people, and you want to be able to capitalize on that with a hard-hitting move, especially if you get Snorlax against like a Giratina or a Steel type. You want to be able to either one-shot the Steel type or do good chip damage to the Giratina rather than having to use Body Slams to just kind of outpace the Dragon Claw damage or anything like that. So for the first set of battles today, we're going to be running Talonflame in the lead, and then for the second two sets, we're going to be running Talonflame in the back and moving Cresselia to the lead. We're also going to be bringing this Talonflame to Ultra Premiere in the next video, so don't forget to subscribe, like the video and all that good stuff if you want to see that. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Now, we haven't played Open Ultra in a while, so we're going to be a bit clunky, we're going to make some mistakes, and we're going to learn some lessons while we get used to Talonflame in Open Ultra. So we're jumping into the first match of Ultra League, and we get an Ampharos lead, and this is bad for Talonflame, and the Thunder Punches and Volt Switches are going to be doing massive damage, so we swap into our safe swap, which is Snorlax, and we're met with a Melmetal. Now, does the Melmetal expect us to be running Earthquake, or expect us to be running Superpower and Body Slam? We're going to go straight for the Earthquake. We want shields. The main thing with this team, and especially with Talonflame, is you want to get shields, and they don't shield. They get one shot. Get wrecked, Melmetal, get out of there. And they come in with the Gyarados, so now we're looking a little bit better. Now, looking at this team, Talonflame's not got a great deal of play against this team. The Melmetal could have one-shot it with Rock Slide. The Thunder Punch is going to do massive damage from the Ampharos, and Gyarados is probably running Aqua Tail, which will hit very hard. So the main play that Talonflame has against this team is just landing hard-hitting charge moves. So we're going to try and get shields away. We're going to bring in Talonflame here and just kind of absorb the damage, because we think really that Cresselia is the win condition in this match now, since both Pokemon that they have left are strong against Talonflame, and you saw how much damage that Aqua Tail did. It really chipped away. They let it go down. So we're in a two-shield matchup with Cresselia and Talonflame against Ampharos. We let the Talonflame get farmed down, which isn't the best. We should really have swapped out straight away. I think we were hoping to make it to one more Flame Charge before we went down. And they throw a Dragon Pulse, which is a little bit suspicious. It makes me think that they might be running Dragon Pulse Focus Blast and having two nukes on their Ampharos rather than having the Thunder Punch, which is really good for us because we just need them to get less charge moves off in general. We want to hopefully get a debuff with the Moonblast on them and start chipping them down, because really the Volt Switches do a lot of damage in a drawn out fight from an Ampharos. So the less charge moves they can be throwing, the better, because let's say by this point, if they were running Thunder Punch, they'd probably have this and another one for that amount of energy that they'd have got off, and we'd be starting to get really low. Now that their shields are down, we're going to go for the harder hitting Future Sight. We're going to make sure to take it out, because I think the Moonblast was just less than 50%, so it might not quite have KO'd, but GG. So first match, a good start, but we're just glad that they let the Earthquake go through on the Melmetal, and we're hitting an Empoleon lead in this match. This again is an awful matchup for Talonflame, so it's looking a lot like people are ready for Talonflames on the lead. Empoleon's not something you see a lot of in Open Ultra. It's got good play against Cresselia and has moderate play against Melmetal and Charizard and a few other Pokemon that are turning up in Open Ultra, but it's not that common. So to see it in lead, second match, kind of implies a lot of people might be ready for Talonflame in the lead. So far I've had two bad leads out of two matches, but we've managed to flip one around. They shield the Earthquake this time, and we're going to come in with Talonflame and look at how much those Flame Charges are doing. But we're going to get taken out by this Rock Slide. Well, not quite, because they debuffed themselves with the Superpower, but they're going to get to another one before we get the Flame Charge off. And we're going to shield this because we had the Flame Charge ready. We had two even. So we want to throw both of these. They either shield and we throw another one, or they let it go down, and then we've got another Flame Charge to throw at whatever comes in next. Now, if this is the Empoleon, an amped up Flame Charge still hits for a lot of damage, and it is. So we get the shield, but now we've got Cresselia against the Empoleon, and we don't have Grass Knot to hit for neutral damage. So this is not looking good because we've still got to take this out and deal with whatever's in the back. Talonflame has no energy left now, and it's a Togekiss in the back. Now, I wasn't too sure which charge move to throw, but I think the right play probably is to go for a Moonblast and a Future Sight, but we got double Future Sight to take it straight out. I think if we'd have thrown the Moonblast first to potentially debuff them, and then the Future Sight, might have been better to go for a Farm Down to have a bit more energy to throw at the Empoleon, but either way, we're getting screwed here. We got using our last shield. We're not going to be able to get enough damage off. We catch on the Talonflame, but this is in vain. We're fighting to the end, but we cannot win this match. We're just going to get found down with Waterfalls at this point. We're going to get off the Moonblast, hoping for some kind of ×4 debuff and be able to get to another move. It's not going to happen. Can't happen. We're just going to get found down. It's going to be a GG. So at this point, we're starting to think that maybe either we're getting unlucky or that Talonflame's going to serve more purpose in the back than in the front, but we decide to finish a full set running it in front and see what happens, and we pull in a Escavalier lead. So this is an amazing lead. The Flame Chargers will be hitting for double super effective, as will the Incinerates. They swap into a Cresselia, and we swap out into a Snorlax. Now, realistically, we should have hung around with the Talonflame and got off either a Flame Charge or a Brave Bird to chip the Cresselia down or get a shield away, because Snorlax does chip away very well with the lick damage, but Cresselia is such a tanky beast in Ultra League that it's going to be able to take that damage and really threaten us, throwing the Moonblast at us, and if they get the debuff, it's even worse for us. We're going for these Body Slams, chip away, hopefully maybe tempt a shield, but it's not really enticing them to because they're doing such little damage. Another alternative would have been to stay in with Talonflame against Cresselia altogether, but with Escavalier, it has a very strong matchup against both Cresselia and Snorlax, so we knew we had to swap out and be able to keep the Talonflame for Escavalier, but now we've lost switch, so we can't even line up Talonflame with Escavalier anyway, so it's going to get caught up against our Cresselia, which is not good. We farm down and have a good amount of energy here at 100 energy. I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. I think a lot of people expect you to throw a Flame Charge to amp up the damage and then the Brave Bird, but we're just going straight for Brave Bird, and we're going to throw another one immediately to either get them very low or force a shield. Because we've lost switch, we're in a very bad position anyway, and if we try to bait them and they call it, we're in an even worse position. So we're going to swap into Cresselia. They bring out the Escavalier. Now, Escavalier does have a strong matchup against Cresselia, but if you've got shields and you manage to shield the Mega Horns, you can push it very close, you can flip it. And we call the first one as being a drill run, and it is. This is very good for us because we need to be making those calls, they need to be failing those baits to give us a win condition. We're going for another Future Sight. This will get them low, it does get them low. All of a sudden, it's feeling like there might be hope for this match. There probably isn't. We shield the Mega Horn. That's great for us. That would have nearly taken us out if not taking that from this range. We try to snipe them with Talonflame, but Incinerate is a very slow, fast move, so they swap out before the damage goes through. They come in with Lapras, and they've got a move ready to throw. We have to shield. We're going to go for this Flame Charge, see if it tempts the last shield out of them, and it does. And now we have to hope they maybe try to go for a Found Down or Overcharge. They don't. They're going to throw this Surf. This is going to take us out. And it's can Cresselia finish off this match? Got a good amount of health, not that much energy, and we know the Lapras is close to a move. We should have overcharged there. We had to overcharge and get more ready to go. The Escavalier is going to come in and it's going to be able to make it to a Mega Horn and take us out. GG. Very close match though. We should have recognised that we could survive a Surf and built up as much energy as possible before taking out the Lapras. But lessons learned. We'll know for the next time. So this match, we're up against a Melmetal. Now, this is, unless you take it to the 2 shields, it's a bad matchup because you're going to take so much damage from a Rock Slide. But they swap out into a Swampert, and we linger for a second. We linger a second longer than we should because they get a Hydro Cannon off and get a shield out of us. But now we're going to throw a Brave Bird, and this threatens massive damage on a Swampert. XL Talonflame in Ultra League can beat Swampert, and it can take 1 Hydro Cannon, so we didn't need to use that first shield. But don't mind that we did. Keeps the Talonflame somewhat healthy, but also it would have been better spent blocking a Rock Slide from the Melmetal potentially down the line. I'm going to swap in Cresselia so it avoids the Melmetal, and it's got a decent matchup against Swampert, although the Swampert has an energy lead. So all in all, we're making a bit of a shambles of these matches early on here. Like I said, we didn't need to shield the Hydro Cannon, and we could have swapped into Cresselia earlier anyway. But either way, we're going to we're going to throw at this Swampert now and either take it out or get a shield. Really, we want the shield, but we don't get it. And they're going to come in with Melmetal and they're going to be able to farm us down, so we swap out aggressively into Snorlax. Because we don't want them to be able to farm down Cresselia, which they could definitely have done. They could have eaten all the Moonblast in the world and just farmed us down with Thundershock. I'm going to shield, expecting the superpower. Now they've got one shield left, and we've just used our last one, so they're probably going to shield. So this is a mistake to throw Earthquake. We should really have gone for Body Slam, as they double debuff themselves, so they would have felt very threatened. But they get taken out. They get one shot, which is amazing for us, and now there's a Giratina in the back. Now this is why we've got Earthquake on Snorlax, because you want to be able to hit these guys for good neutral damage rather than the resisted Body Slams. We catch a Cresselia to catch one of these Dragon Claws, get it out of here. That's very, very good for us. And the hope is to land an Earthquake, or if not an Earthquake, to land a Brave Bird, or perhaps two, if they don't do enough damage fast enough. And we're chipping down. They're going to have to throw. They cannot farm down with Shadow Claw. This is going to be a close match. At this point, we're going to go for Flame Charges on Talonflame because we don't want to debuff ourselves, and the Giratina is so low. Look at it, it's really chipping down, but they are going for a super aggressive farm down. They don't get it. We take the win. GG. So you can see, even when we're winning lead in some matchups, we're still kind of struggling to capitalize on it with this team, and in this fifth match we get a Giratina. Now this is a little bit more neutral than you think it is, but it is favourable for Giratina. The Brave Bird's hit for big damage. If you can bait with a Flame Charge and land a Brave Bird, you can win the matchup. And now they bring in a Politoed, and we're not too sure what to bring into this. We decided to bring in Snorlax. Perhaps Cresselia would have been a better shout, but the Cresselia would really have needed Grass Knot to really capitalise on this matchup. And Politoed is just a spam machine. It's going to get so many Weather Balls off, and that's going to dramatically outpace Snorlax. And Snorlax is bulky, but the Body Slams there, they're not doing enough damage. Politoed has a lot more bulk in Ultra League than it has in Great League. And looking back with Cresselia in the back, it should have Grass Knot to punish the water types. We wanted Future Sight on the off chance we were stuck against Charizards and even Talonflames to hit for neutral in what would otherwise be very punishing matchups. But we didn't really make that much use of Future Sight. We had a lot of situations where Grass Knot would have really helped us out and saved our bacon against Swamperts, and here against Politoads. So it's going to hit us with Weather Balls, and this is really going to be spamming. So they bring in Giratina, they swap and they give up switch advantage, and we're going to throw a Moonblast at this. We get a shield. Now, Brave Bird does similar damage to a Giratina as Moonblast does. So 2 Brave Birds-ish will take out a Giratina, same as 2 Moonblasts will take out a Giratina. Our thinking at the minute is to get the shields away from them, and then hopefully Talonflame can sweep, landing Brave Birds or Flame Charges, and we decide to catch. We're thinking, really, we're going to struggle against the Politoed, so we swap in aggressively, and they've got a lot of energy to dump here, so we're going to eat another Dragon Claw. We decide to shield this up, and this is a mistake, because really, the Weather Balls from that Politoed, which is still alive, is really going to threaten us a lot harder than some Dragon Claws are. And they call the bait on the Flame Charge, because we just swapped in, so we didn't want to lower our defense. They knew that, so we're going to shield again, and we're going for the farm down, but they had energy on the Politoed. They swap in. We got no shields. We're going to lose the energy we had. We got absolutely outplayed and outclassed in this game. We made quite a few mistakes, and we realised that we don't have a very good answer for a Politoed safe swap, and it absolutely ran rampant on our team. And there's a Registeel in the back. This is it. The game's over. We're being a bit stubborn here. We're stopping in. We're going to throw a Moonblast at this thing. There's no way we can win this matchup. They're going to be able to lock on us down here, but we're feeling a little salty at how badly the match has gone for us. We're just going to throw at him. We're like, if you want to farm us down, we're going to waste your time to do it. But GG to my opponent all the same. So we decide to swap Cresselia to the lead and Talonflame to the back, and you're going to see a dramatic shift in the performance of this team. We catch Politoed lead, which is a very good start for us because they're going to assume that we've got Grass Knot anyway, so they're not going to want to take that move. And this keeps the Politoed away from the Talonflame, which is obviously the worst matchup that we could probably get. But you can see how spammy this thing is. It's going to get off 2 Weather Balls before we even get off our first Moonblast. We did overcharge a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and throw this, see what they decide to do. They do shield, but now they're going to know that we've not got Grass Knot, because if you don't have Grass Knot, well, if you have Grass Knot, you might as well be throwing it. It's the lowest energy cost move, so it's not like you're going to be baiting with anything else. So they now know they're in a better position than they might have thought they were in, and they're going to know they can take a Moonblast or a Future Sight, so they do. But we're going to keep threatening because we're super bulky. We can take these Weather Balls, we can even take this one, and they might not be expecting us, so they might be expecting a shield, and we're going to go for the Future Sight here. We're going to shield this and go for Future Sight because the Moonblast does just less than half, and it wouldn't kill them from this range, so they'd know they can take it. But a Future Sight does slightly more, and it does just take them out. So we win switch in the 1-to-1 shield, and they come in with the Giratina to farm us down. That is not good, but it does mean we can get Snorlax locked against this thing. And then we got 1 shield apiece, so we should be able to make it to 2 Earthquakes, which should put this matchup in our favour. We don't have to worry about baiting. They swap into a Cresselia, and we're lingering a little bit longer than we should. Not too sure why, because we really want to get into the Talonflame as soon as, because Talonflame has a very good matchup against Cresselia. It resists the Moonblast, it resists the Grass Knot if it has Grass Knot. The only move it has to watch out for is Future Sight, and not many Cresselia in Open Ultra are running Future Sight. They're running Grass Knot to deal with Swamperts and Empoleons. Now, this Talonflame will be able to do good damage here. This Flame Charge might take out the Cresselia now if they choose not to shield, or it'll be close. They don't shield, doesn't quite take them out, and we're going to be able to farm them down, so we've got more energy, and we're going to go straight for the, I think we're going to, are we going to shield this, maybe? No, we're going to let it go through. Is it going to take us out? Not quite. We're going to get this Brave Bird off, and this is quite clutch, because it's either going to get the shield or do massive damage. It does get the shield. We're going to swap into Snorlax, throw this Earthquake straight away, do good damage, and then we're going to be able to farm them down with Lick, or get to another Earthquake, one or the other, and we've still even got a shield, and Snorlax can take these moves. We're not even going to need shield, and they back out and give us the game. GG. So we're feeling a bit more confident about running Cresselia in the lead than Talonflame at this point, although it is bulkier and can deal with a lot more matchups. And we got him a champ. This is a great lead for Cresselia. You have to watch out for payback if they are running it, but we know from counting that this is at most a Rock Slide, so we don't have to shield. It's going to do a little bit of chip damage, but not that much, and we're going to be threatening them pretty hard with Moonblast and Future Sight. Really, the Future Sight would have one-shot there, but we don't mind. They come in with an Articuno, and the plan here is we're going to throw a charge move, and then once they debuff us with an Icy Wind, then we're going to swap out. Because obviously we don't want them to have as much of an energy lead as they would have if we swapped out now. So we're going to throw this Icy Wind, we're going to take it, and now we're going to swap into Talonflame and go for the farm down. We're a little bit worried about Ancient Power or Hurricane, but they weren't out of Hurricane, and since Ancient Power got its nerf a few seasons back, it is nowhere near as threatening to the Fire Flying types with Throw, because we don't want to have to eat another Icy Wind, and they come in with Charizard. Now, we've already used 1 Flame Charge. This Brave Bird is going to absolutely annihilate. We know we're up to a Dragon Claw there and that we could take it. They either shield this or they're going to get one shot. What do they choose? They choose the shield. No get wrecked today, sir. Coming with a Machamp to farm down, and Cresselia is going to make this Machamp throw energy. We might shield and farm down. No, we know it's just a cross chop. Very ballsy call on our part. Otherwise, we'd have had Snorlax taking massive damage from counters there while we lick down. We're going to go for this Future Sight. Charizards are never expecting it. Look at that damage. Absolutely smashed to pieces. And we're going to be able to farm down with Lick, and that's a GG. As you can see, this team is really not about baiting. It's about throwing the hardest hitting move from everything every time. So then you're going to punish something with a hard hit. So either you're going to land a Brave Bird from Talonflame, you're going to land a Future Sight from Cresselia, or you're going to land an Earthquake from Snorlax. And you're going to be able to power through things if they choose to call baits or choose that they're not going to shield or whatever. You're going to be able to do massive damage. We swap out into Snorlax against this lower muck here, and they stay in and they eat an Earthquake. They obviously weren't expecting that. We're a little worried they're going to have another answer for Cresselia in the back, but because they've taken that Earthquake, we're going to be able to get switch advantage. So even if they do have one other good answer in the back that they were confident in, it might not get lined up. And they come in with a Lugia, and it looked like they were lagging there, but as you can see, a bunch of fast moves came through just as we were throwing the Body Slam. So they weren't actually lagging, it was a visual bug, and then the damage started coming through very quickly as all those moves caught up at once. We're just going to spam Body Slams at this Lugia though, and the Lick damage is really ploughing away. Lugia is bulky. Lugia is bulky wherever it goes, but it does not have the same bulk as it has in Master League, here in the Ultra League. And we're just going to come in with Cresselia. We're not too concerned. They come in with Scizor, and Talonflame is going to absolutely melt this thing. That's 2 Incinerates, and it's over 50% of its health. We're not going to shield. We don't need to shield. And just in case they get the boost and save the shield for the second charge move, but we don't even need to shield this. We're just going to farm down, and then we're going to, again, threaten the Lugia. We're only going to throw... We click the Brave Bird, but we only needed to throw Flame Charges. The Lugia's already pretty low here. And this is a GG. We're going to throw double Flame Charge. Thank God that the Brave Bird didn't register, because that might have given them a win condition if they could farm us down. Throw another Incinerate and another Flame Charge. This should get the last shield, or they're going to let it go down. They let it go down. They know that they can't beat the Cresselia as well. GG. That was a strong win for us there. Jumping into the next game against Crazy Anxious, and we get a Gramble lead. Now we're going to hope this is a Charm and not a Snarl, and it is Charm, so that's good because the Snarls will be more energy, and Gramble has access to Crunch, so a Snarl Gramble is a lot more threatening to a Cresselia because we can get off more of those super effective charge moves. I'm going to throw the Moonblast. We get the debuff, which is absolutely, that puts it even more in our favour. Now we don't need to shield this Crunch, which is going to do good damage, but it would have done quite a bit more if we hadn't had that attack drop, and we probably would have been tempted to use a shield. I'm going to throw another Moonblast, hopefully take them out. We do. So we're going to swap out straight away because we're worried they're weak to Cresselia in the back, but they've got a Giratina and an Escavalier, and they brought the Giratina into the Cresselia, which is wild. I don't know if they realise how strong a matchup Escavalier has against Cresselia, but it would have been amazing for them to farm down with that Escav. Or maybe they were concerned of giving away they had an Escavalier if they thought we had Giratina in the back. But now that we've tempted out this Escav, we're going to farm down with Talonflame. Again, Talonflame does not need to worry about any charge moves from Escavalier. Throw a Mega Horn, look at that, does almost nothing. We're going to farm down, and we're going to be able to threaten this Giratina with Brave Birds. We're going to throw Brave Birds. We're not here to let them call baits. Look at that, over 50% damage. We're going to swap into Cresselia and go for a Moonblast, and this was a mistake. This was a very dangerous mistake because we were basically in farm down range for that Giratina there. They could have not thrown that move, shielded this Moonblast, farmed down, and had a lot of energy to dump at Talonflame, and they're going to farm us down here, and this is going to push it closer than this match should have been. We should have stayed in with Talonflame, gone for another Brave Bird straight away to get the shield, and then dash for the Moonblast from Cresselia. And this is going to get us, you see, we're getting pretty low. We're going to shield here, and we should just be able to make it to this Brave Bird and take them out, but they were close to another Dragon Claw, and that would have been, might not have taken us out, but it would have been close and risky that it needed to be, but GG. As you can see, Talonflame is very dangerous when it locks in something like a Scizor and Escavalier, something that it can farm down and have energy to threaten whatever follows it in. It's an incredibly dangerous Pokemon, and we catch a Swampert on lead here, and we don't mind this. We're assuming we're going to get a shield, at least until they realise that we're not running Grass Knot. Yep, so we get the shield the first time, and we get the attack fall. That is absolutely key, because Swampert versus Cresselia it's a good matchup for Cresselia, but not as good as it could be if you've not got Grass Knot. But then, if you get the attack debuff, it really puts it back into Cresselia's favour. They swap out into a lower Muck, and we're going to punish this with Talonflame. Talonflame can eat one charge move from a lower Muck, especially if they throw Dark Pulse and not Sludge Wave or build up to Gunk Shot. So I think Gunk Shot would one-shot. We go straight for the Brave Bird, hoping to one-shot, and as you can see, it doesn't quite. So that's a lesson learned. Brave Bird does not quite one-shot in a lower Muck. I mean, massive damage, but it did mean we had to shield. They come in with the Swampert. I'm going to go for a Flame Charge here. We should really have just gone for the Brave Bird, but we knew they were going to shield. We knew they'd be scared of taking another Brave Bird, because why would we bait at that point? So we're going to let this go down now, because we're worried we get outpaced to another move anyway. Come back in with the Cresselia. And at this point, I'm not sure if Moonblast is the right call, or if we should have gone for Future Sight. I think double Moonblast is the right shout, because a Future Sight wouldn't take them out anyway. So we would have to throw 2 charge moves either way. We're not going to shield this, we don't need to. It's an Earthquake, it does hit hard. And can we outpace? We can just make it to this Moonblast. They must have either been right on a Hydro Cannon or they overcharged. But either way, we're going to take them out. We're happy with that. They've got an Articuno in the back. And we swap straight out into Snorlax because we didn't want the Cresselia to get farmed down. Now, with a lot of Articuno matchups, Articuno benefits massively from shielding the first charge move, but they don't have any shields, and we have one. So This flips a lot of matchups against Articuno if they don't have that first initial shield, because once they start getting debuffs off and they move to less and less damage, it starts really gaining pace and taking over a lot of Pokemon. But we're going to be able to comfortably win this Articuno with our one shield. We're going to be able to get to another Body Slam, take them out. Well, this might not quite take them out, but we can survive another Icy Wind and we should be able to farm down with lick damage afterwards. Yeah, so not quite. Articuno's got good bulk in Ultra League, and I do think it was very popular in the earlier seasons, and it's less common now, but it is a very strong pick. GG. So with Cresselia on the lead and Talonflame in the back, we're able to go 5-0 in that set, which we're really happy with. Talonflame feels much stronger late game than it does early game, and did in the next set of battles as well, because we're going to do one more set with Cresselia in the lead and Talonflame in the back. We figured, well, this is working, so let's stick with it for another set, see what we can do, and maybe get a little bit more variety of matchups that we can see to show you guys on how certain things play out. And we get a Dragon Breath Giratina on the lead in this match. Now, Shadow Claw Giratina and Cresselia go very toe-to-toe, and it's generally a little bit more favourable for Giratina, I find. Like, I don't like being in that matchup with Cresselia, but the Dragon Breath variant struggles to keep up pace because it can't throw as many Shadow Sneaks, and it's doing less damage with the fast move over time as well. Even though Dragon Breath is an amazing damage over time move, Shadow Claw, when it's super effective, is an insanely strong move. So they're throwing another Shadow Sneak here. I'm going to let this go through, and what this does mean by letting that one go through is that if they choose to shield this, they might be able to farm us down, but they do let it go through, so we win the 1-to-1 shield there. They come in with Venusaur, we swap out immediately. We did quite a lot of aggressive swapping in today's sets if we did win lead, which in some cases paid off for us, in some cases it didn't, and in this matchup it's tempted out a Togekiss, so we know they've got a Venusaur and a Togekiss in the back. And this is great because Talonflame has a great matchup against Togekiss because it's resisting the Charms, and it's got a great matchup against Venusaur because it's resisting the Frenzy Plants and the Sludge Bombs. So really this is going to be a Talonflame's game to clean up. So we're not going to shield the Snorlax, we're not going to worry about it getting taken out. We're going to be able to get a Body Slam off on this Venusaur, which is great chip damage, but this game is already done. Swap into the Talonflame and they're going to quit there. GG. So they were very weak to a Talonflame in the back, but they would have been to a Charizard as well. And we're up now against somebody NH, and it's Articuno against Cresselia. Now, this is a pretty neutral matchup, but again, the longer it's dragged out, the better it gets for Articuno. So if they shield this, which they don't, that would have put them in a much stronger position to win the matchup overall, because that's the hardest hitting move of the matchup. Like I said, the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. So we're going to go ahead and throw another Moonblast, but we don't quite outpace them. To this one, they outpace us because it's only 4 Ice Shards for the second Icy Wind. And we're going to swap out. We're not going to throw that energy. We're going to save it. We're going to swap out into Snorlax and see what it tempts out on their side. And it tempts out a Cresselia, which isn't terrible for Snorlax because, like we said, the licks are super effective. They will start adding up. And we're throwing Body Slams because Body Slam is the more energy efficient move when both Body Slam and Earthquake are neutral. And we're chipping away. They hit us with a Moonblast, and we're going for another Body Slam here. And this is quite, well, as you know, Ultra League has the most drawn out matchups because everything is so bulky, everything takes so many charge moves, and most of the meta relevant Pokemon are quite spammy. So we eat a second Moonblast, and we're getting pretty low, they're getting pretty low. We're going to throw this Body Slam, see if it tempts a shield out of them. It does. So now when we get to another Body Slam, we overcharge before the last one to see if they got greedy, and they did, so we can throw another Body Slam and we get to take Switch and Shield advantage. Articuno comes back in to farm us down, but we're going to have Talonflame now to meet this thing. So they were probably expecting the Cresselia to come back in, and now they're not going to be feeling too hot about this because, pun intended, because we've got energy advantage, so we're going to be able to throw Brave Birds at this Giratina Origin, which is quite squishy. That was a debuffed Brave Bird, and that hit so hard. We've got the energy still on the Cresselia from the first matchup, which is great. It forces out that shield. Now, Giratina Origin is good against Cresselia because it hits so hard and has super effective moves. But in this case, we get farmed down, which is a little bit scary. But also, we've still got a shield, we've got quite a bit of health, and we know that this is an Ominous Wind. And we can take that, so we don't need to shield, we don't need to get baited. And now they haven't got a chance, we're just going to be able to get to a charge move. and take them out. We throw a Flame Charge, but really we should have thrown the Brave Bird. But it doesn't matter either way. They're going to get taken out by this, and we are going to take the... Oh no, there's still Articuno in the back. Completely forgot about Articuno. It's very good we saved that shield. It wasn't just to not get baited by Giratina. We needed the shield. If we'd have spent it earlier, we'd have probably been taken out by that. And we take them out there. We take the win. GG. Always keep track of what Pokemon you've knocked out. It's easy to have something swap out and you forget that it's not dealt with. And that could have cost us dearly in that matchup there. We pull another Giratina, and we saw quite a few Giratina leads in this second set of battles. And it would have been a good answer to Talonflame. Giratina does pretty well against Talonflame because it just does such relentless damage and is so bulky. So we're not too sad that we're seeing it here. We know Snorlax has a better matchup, but Snorlax is a pretty good generalist, and with the Earthquake it might be able to threaten a Steel that comes in later anyway. So we're going to eat this Shadow Sneak, we're going to throw another Moonblast, maybe tempt out a second shield. We don't think we'll tempt out a second shield here. No. And we might be able to make it to another Moonblast, or they're going to throw. They're going to throw, which isn't too bad. And what we're going to do now is go for a complete farm down with Snorlax. We've got a shield advantage, we don't have switch advantage, and we're going to farm down completely. We should be able to outpace it on damage. The Dragon Claws will add up, but it's not going to be able to take us out before we lick down. And we're going to have a lot of energy to throw whatever comes in. And there are very few things, if anything, in Open Ultra that can resist both Body Slam spam or resist Earthquakes. And because we're going to have a shield advantage, they're not going to be inclined to shield. So we come in with a Cresselia, and we go straight for the Earthquake, and this might have been a bit of a rushed click. We should have just gone for multiple Body Slams, as they would hit for more energy efficient damage overall. But then we're going to swap out into Talonflame, see what we tempt out, and there's a Swampert. This is kind of scary. Now I think the plan is to take the first Hydro Cannon. Nope, we're going to show the first Hydro Cannon. I think we should really have taken that one, because we would have done release damage, because now we're going to throw the Brave Bird, our defense will be lowered, and Hydro Cannon becomes quite a bit more threatening. We're going to go for another Brave Bird straight away. We got the shield on the first one, which was kind of surprising. But now look how much damage that does. Look at the absolute devastation that does to a Swampert, and that's why Talonflame can actually win this matchup. Now if we could farm down, we weren't confident, and we swapped in Snorlax and Caught, and this is quite clutch actually. So now we can... The Swampert is alive with just a little bit of health, but it's not got energy. It shouldn't be able to hit Talonflame with a Hydro Cannon or anything like that. So as long as Talonflame can take out this Cresselia, we should be looking good. We've got no shields, and they go for Moonblast, so they're not running Future Sight, which would have been a little bit scary as well. We're going to go for the Flame Charge, which, yeah, we don't want to debuff ourselves, even if this doesn't take it out, not quite. We're going to eat another Moonblast. Maybe the Brave Bird would have been the way to go to avoid this damage, but you see the timer's coming up, it's going to be close. Can we just take them out? We do. We take the win. GG. So as you can see, Talonflame can really handle a Swampert if it's got a shield advantage, because we didn't need to shield that first Hydro Cannon, but it didn't matter that we did. It gave us a bit more health to work with and a bit more. And we get another shiny Giratina on lead. Second shiny Giratina in a row in these matchups, and it's for good reason. Giratina is very strong in Open Ultra League. There's a few more things. There's a lot of things that turn up now specifically to deal with Giratina. It's a bit of a mixed bag, although there's been a lot less Charmers than I was used to seeing in Open Ultra. So maybe Giratina's got a bit more play now than it had in the last couple of seasons, especially with it dealing with Talonflame moderately well. Now we're going for the same strategy again. We've got a shield advantage, we're going to let Cresselia go down, and we're going to go for the farm down with Snorlax. And they swap out immediately into a Machamp. So this is a bit of a different approach. They're not going to let themselves get farmed down. And we're going to bring in Talonflame to this. And Talonflame isn't really a good answer to Machamp. Yeah, it's resisting the counters, but the Rock Slide will pretty much one-shot. So our only saving grace right now is our shield advantage. I'm going to go for a Flame Charge, and we over-tap. We throw an extra Incinerate instead of just throwing that second Flame Charge and maybe getting rid of them straight away. So now we're all even on shields. We get an extra Incinerate worth of farming before we throw, because we need all the energy we can get now. And this Giratina was loaded on energy. So they can probably hit us with maybe 2 Dragon Claws here. And yeah, and we over-tap again. We do another Incinerate rather than just throwing the Brave Bird. to take them out like we should have. So now Talonflame is super low. We're going for Flame Charge here. This might not even take them out. It does. They were pretty low and we were boosted. And it's an Alolan Ninetales. This might one-shot and just give us the win and completely clutch it. It does. Get wrecked, Ninetales. We take the win. GG. Talonflame sweeping that game despite us almost throwing it away. We almost made a mess of that match. And we get a XL Abomasnow in this match. And this is the last match of our third set, and then we'll have bonus match at the end that I'll leave you guys with. Now we're hoping that we can line up Talonflame with this thing, but also we're not really sure whether to swap out, and I don't know XL Abomasnow's matchups in Open Ultra League, but they swap out. So now we know at least that hopefully we can line up Talonflame with that thing later. And they bring in a Mewtwo and we get Snorlax on it. And as you can see, the lick damage from a Snorlax really chips away at a Mewtwo. But that Side Strike hits very hard and is very threatening. Now, as long as they let the Body Slam through, we should be able to take Switch, because Mewtwo is very squishy. It's squishy in all leagues, but the further down you go, the squishier it gets. Look at that, that's a very hard hitting Body Slam. We're able to farm down, and now we know that we can get Talonflame on this Abomasnow. It's throwing quite early, which is great for us. This might not quite take us out. Now, they might be able to farm us down, which wouldn't be good. You know, the Weather Ball is going to hit for neutral and decent neutral damage at that, but those Incinerates are going to really chunk it away. We get to one last clutch Body Slam for some nice chip damage here, and we're just hoping they haven't got too much energy ready to throw at our Talonflame straight away. They do throw, but if this Incinerate finishes going through, if they don't swap out immediately, it's going to do massive damage, and it does. See that? That's an absolutely huge chunk of health there coming away. We didn't sneak an extra Incinerate through, which is a shame. And we're going to throw it. It doesn't quite finish them off, that Incinerate. So we're going to have to shield now, which they must be really happy about. That's very clutch. But now all shields are down. We've got energy. There's a Giratina in the back. So we're going to go for the Brave Bird, and then we're going to go for the Moonblast, and we should be able to take this win. Again, this team functions very well on getting shields away and then letting the hard-hitting charge moves sweep towards the end. So the Giratina survives with a sliver of health, gets off a Dragon Claw. It's not going to take us out. We're going to Psycho Cut down, take the win. So we're able to go 10-0, 2 5-0 sets back-to-back with Cresselia in the lead and Talonflame in the back. Super happy with that performance from this team. And I'm going to leave you guys with bonus match where we lose lead here against Talonflame. See, you guys take a guess, see if we can flip this matchup around and take the win or not. And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see XL Talonflame in the Ultra Premier Cup and how it performs there, which we'll be covering next on the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you dudes next time.